It is time for some free Gamerscore. What is going on, hunters? It is me, Morvi, and today we are getting 1000 Gamerscore on Fuzzball. This is an arena fighter of sorts, which is a very nice change because I assumed it was going to be another puzzler. This one shouldn't take too long. It took me around 2 hours to complete. I will be honest, it isn't crazy hard, but it isn't a walk in the park either. I'd give it a 5 out of 10 for difficulty, solely because the CPU opponents pull some dodgy moves that aren't really fair. Thankfully, the restart button is nearly instant, so if anything goes wrong or not in our favour, we can quickly start again. We will need a second controller for one of the achievements. We don't actually need to use it, we just need it sitting there and have player 2 looking all pretty while we beat it. How nice. As I said, this one is completely free, so it is great for the wallet. If this guide helps you out, or if I've put Fuzzball on your radar, then please let me know down in the comment section. We've got to go beat up some cute animals into submission now, so let's jump into it. Okay, so for this achievement hunt, we're looking at 10 achievements. For the most part, it is pretty straightforward. The last achievement has us doing some seemingly random pattern to unlock the ending boss, but we'll get to that. First things first, we need to beat every single character on the very hard difficulty. Think of this as a warm-up, as we'll pretty much have to do the same later, but on a harder difficulty. So, if you're having trouble now, bear that in mind. You can fight these animals in any order, and you can choose whatever animal you prefer to play as. They do have somewhat passive special abilities, such as the Hedgehog having spikes on its head so it's harder to jump on, and the Parrot being able to hover when it jumps for a lot longer than everyone else. They aren't game changing, but they can come in handy depending on your playstyle. I didn't really take too much notice of this, and I solely went for what looked the cutest, and that was the cow, obviously. And before we got into the game, we're going to press Y. This is where we can change the difficulty and lives. We want to make sure that it is set to very hard, and to make our life easier, we're going to set the lives to 1. Now we're going to go into the game. We can pick any stage before going in. Personally, these 2 stages were my favourite. One's a standard arena, and one has traps that can help us. But first things first, let's go to the tabletop first. Let's just show you how to play this game. For this first one, I'm going to show you one of my failures, as I don't want to pretend that I am Mr. Pro when I'm definitely not. As I said, this game is a bit cheesy when it's fighting you. It is very nimble and it is really out for your blood. One big positive is if you do fail, there is no big crazy animation that we have to watch at the end. We can just crack on, hit restart and get back to it. We have 3 abilities in our arsenal. A normal dash, a charge dash and a jump but bounce thing. I'll be honest, I didn't know there was a normal dash until about an hour into the playthrough, so you will see me doing a lot of charged attacks here. This game is very RNG related, and you've really got to hope that the AI is having an off day, because they can instantly spawn in and just get shot off the map, and that'll be an easy win for you. But others, they really want you dead. Once you've learned the ropes and turned that cow into a burger and we've got our first achievement, we can go back to the main menu, back into character select, and pick the next animal we're going to turn into Roadkill. I chose the Hedgehog. The Hedgehog is pretty simple. Make sure you aren't butt bouncing this little lady, as her spikes on her back will send you flying. I did choose a different arena for this one just to test the waters, see what was better and what was worse. If you do like this map that I'm playing now, make sure you hug the top wall, as you're pretty much invincible. Every time the enemy hits you, you're going to go straight into that wall or into the top left or top right corner, which is also blocked off. So, good old safety tip. But you will be having to dodge the fire ring, but if you're hugging the wall and you go past it, you will not die. As you can see, this one took a little bit longer than my first win with the cow. Some take longer, some are instant. It is complete luck of the draw. But once Hedgie is down, that is our second 50G achievement unlocked, and we can move on to our next one. My next challenger was the pup. I needed to show you lot this clip, as the AI is treating me like an absolute clown here. Cheers, lad. So, I reloaded it and sent this Doge somewhere no Doge has been before. The moon. I want to put myself down for that joke, don't worry. Moving on. The kitty cat is next up. This was a nice and easy one. I simply threw the cat on the Barbie. As I said, both these maps are great, but they have different benefits. I do like the added security of the upper wall on this level, but it is also harder to knock your opponent down. Whereas on the table map, it is pretty instant who wins and loses. Once the kitty has been sent to the Shadow Realm, it is time for the Parrot. This little guy is a bit of a pain in the butt, as he can hover and float around the place, making it a little bit tricky to land hits on him. And he also has pretty good recovery. But keep doing exactly what we've been doing throughout these levels so far, and eventually we'll clip him straight off the map. This one probably took me the longest, and I had to try both maps to see which one was easier. My logic was to cook the birdie, but he was a little bit too smart for that, so I just ended up having to do it the old-fashioned way. And then finally we have one little critter left to exterminate, and that is the cute old bunny. No different, send this cute bunny straight off the screen. As I said, they all have abilities, but the only two that seem to have good ones, or ones that you could noticeably see, was the Hedgehog and the Parrot. So, yep, go on the table, blast the bunny straight off, and just like that we've collected our first 6 achievements and earned 300 Gamerscore. Now it's time to grab our second controller and do the Player 2 achievement. We are now going to get the achievement that needs the second controller. From the main menu, we're going to load into party mode. Make sure your main account is player 1 and that makes sure player 2 is a guest account. Pick your character and the enemy. If you press Y, you can change the time limit. For the achievement, it is probably best to put it at max, which is 10 minutes. As I said, make sure you are player 1, as I did this the first time and accidentally swapped the accounts round, and in my first go I didn't get the achievement. So once we've all sorted that out, we're going to go into the game. In total we need 200 points. As you can see in the bottom left, there is a counter, so it is really easy to watch go up. We get 1 point for knocking each enemy off the stage, as well as each enemy animal. The game mode is also broken down into short mini games that constantly change throughout the level. This will include survive the longest, take down the most enemies, and so on and so forth. Thankfully we don't have to contend with anything, as our second controller is sitting there idle and looking pretty. So the aim of this mode is we want to take out every single enemy that appears, keep knocking off player 2 as much as possible, and complete all the mini games. It is a very simple achievement, and if you put the 10-minute timer, you'll get it in one go, and you'll have 3 to 4 minutes remaining by the time you've hit that 200 point goal. Once you've done that, we'll have our next achievement, which is also rare, Master of Coin. The next achievement we're going to be going for, now that we have all the very hard achievements, is the Taking Names achievement. This will unlock the insane difficulty mode. To do this, we're going to go to the main menu and to the top left of the screen into the cog. From here, we're going to hit the credits option. This will spawn us into an extra little game mode where each person that's worked on the game spawns in as an enemy. It is our job to send everyone off the table and into the Shadow Realm. This did take me quite a few tries before figuring out an easy method. So, as you can see, the names on the left are in white. Once they're off the table, they'll turn yellow. This means they have been eliminated. If you see a white one and you've missed the elimination, then quickly restart. We're going to take advantage of the butt bounce. The first 4 enemies that appear, we're going to get a bit closer to where they spawn and take them out individually just with a dash. But after the first 4, we're going to remain in the centre of the arena. Once we're in the middle, we're just going to jump and butt bounce every time we see an enemy spawn and it starts moving towards us. If done correctly, you'll get a really nice rhythm going. Further into the stage, we'll get 4 enemies constantly spawning in at once. Don't lose your head and keep the timing up, and we'll get all 4 at once. Once you get the rhythm of this achievement, it's actually really simple. I originally tried it many times with the charge dash, and it made myself look like a right scrub. Once the bear pops up, you've only got about 2 or 3 enemies left, and if you've got them all, you'll hear this sound at the end of your run, and the achievement will pop. I hope you've had your fun, because from here on out, it is insane difficulty time. Yay! Something's not right is the first secret achievement we're going to tackle. To do this, we're going to go back into the versus mode and we're going to fight Wilfred the Cow. Go to insane difficulty with 3 lives on the bottom left map. This map is a pain in the butt as it is a constant flow of wind trying to push us off the map, but silver lining is also turning insane difficulty Wilfred into mincemeat. This is the kind of tricky fight as we're doing it with lots of obstacles plus a pumped up cow on steroids, but as you can see from my footage, you can goad him into falling off the edge and using the gust of winds to your advantage. I do think I got a little bit lucky as the CPU did give me a free kill and just jumped off the table, and on the last life looked very confused to where it was, so kinda gave me 2 free kills. This will happen across the game. The CPU isn't the smartest, it's not fair and it cheats, but it's also not very clever, so fingers crossed it has a bit of a brain fart and we'll get them easy achievements. This is a good little intro into the insane difficulty, and thankfully we won't have to play this level again. I'd recommend trying to barge the cow into the bottom of the arena on this one, as the gust of wind will pick him up and send him flying. Now, for the final achievement. It is a little bit long-winded, but let's blast through it. We're going back into the versus mode. We're going to have to fight each character again, but this time on insane difficulty. Big shout out to Angel XC over on True Achievement, as he put a lovely step-by-step on how to unlock the final boss on this achievement, as I'm not going to lie, this is so confusing. Not one point in the game does it say you have to do this, but we have to beat each character on insane difficulty, but on specific levels with specific lives. So this time we can't rely on the one life cheesy method. The first character we're going to be doing is the cat. We're going to need to change it to 3 lives and change the difficulty to insane. Load up the top left map, which is the sponge arena. This map is pretty straightforward. You can get stuck on the outside platforms, but usually you can blast your enemy across the map. As you can see, I got very lucky and didn't lose any lives. This one only took me 2 attempts, so it was a nice start to this achievement, but later down the line we do find some other stages that are a right hellscape. Once we've beaten the cat on 3 lives, we can move on to the next level. The next animal we're going to be hunting is the parrot. Make sure the difficulty is on insane, change the lives to 4, and then we're going to load into the stove level. We have a lot of experience on this level, so it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. With this level, as long as you stick to the wall at the top of the arena like we did before, you should be okay for the most part. We're going to use this arena to our advantage and let the CPU try and walk into the fire traps as much as possible. If not, we're going to blast it down to the bottom of the screen. As I said before, as long as you're hugging that wall, you can traverse over the red circles without getting killed. Also, if you kind of camp above the red circles, the AI will come after you. There's a good chance it will land in the red circle of death. For this one, I would recommend taking your time. At the end of this clip, you can see me losing a few lives just because I was trying to rush it. But honestly, take your time, take some deep breaths, take it slow, and that parrot will be sent packing. Now it's time for the Hedgehog. For this level, we get a little break as there's only a couple of lives on this fight. Load in, put the lives down to 2, and then load up the toilet level that's at the top of the level selection. This one has a pretty cheesy method to it. Pretty much what we're going to want to do is get to the top of the toilet. Now we can either spawn there, or we can jump on either of these bouncy things on the side of the toilet, and it will get us up there real quick. From here, we're going to watch the enemy and see what side they're going to come up. Then from there, we're going to run to that side and camp where they're going to land. When they jump up to meet you, we're going to wait for them, and as soon as they land, we're going to blast them straight off the toilet. Like I said, there's only 2 lives on this level, so it's over very, very quick if you do this method. Next one, it is bunny time. We're going to keep it on 2 lives, and then we're going to load into the fridge level. This is hands down the most infuriating level on this game. If you touch the sides of the map, you'll be turned into an ice ball, then you'll have to button spam to get out. If you get hit while in an ice ball, you are instantly dead. Annoyingly, the bunny is laser fast and will catch you 99% of the time if you are frozen. You are going to die a lot on this level, but don't throw your controller through the screen just yet. The best thing to do is try and stay in the middle of the map and try and bop the bunny into the wall. Sadly, the bunny instantly gets out of the ice, so you will need to be super quick. Its button mashing skills are absolutely otherworldly. The best attack on this level is the normal dash, as you can spam it very quick rather than charging up a dash attack. This one took me the longest by far to get through, so if you don't do it on your first attempt, don't worry, this one is a very, very unfair fight. Once we've frozen that bunny into the next life, we can move on to the final fight with the animals until we get to the final stage. Praise the gods, it is the last one. It's time for the doggy. Thankfully, it is 2 lives once again, and the level is the top right stage. For this level, we can use the stage to our advantage once again. We are pretty much going to kite the dog down the hill, right onto the books. When we step onto the books will get a little bit mad and close themselves. This will get us an instant death on the enemy if they're inside. If you want to be Billy Big Boots and man fight him, then by all means, do it. I would try and stick to this method on this stage, as even if the enemy is just on the edge of the book, they'll get clipped off the stage. You'll probably notice the dog is starting to glitch out here. Don't worry, your game isn't broken. That's an omen for things to come. Once we are back on character select, we are going to choose the dog again, but this time we're going to do 10 lives and load into the white table map. Now, if you're like me, I was dreading a 10 lives fight, but thankfully when we load into this level, you'll see that we get saved by a glitch. When the level starts, the dog will turn into a psychedelic ball. The screen will glitch out and then we'll get back to the home screen. If this happens, that means we've done everything in the right order and we can summon the big bad at the end now and we'll get our last achievement. We are going to load back into the versus mode, and instead of choosing our character, we are going to spawn into the table level with the sign, "Welcome to Fuzzball." We are now going to keep throwing ourselves off the map. Every now and then, the sign will change. You have to roll off a bunch of times, the message getting more and more ominous each time as we stack up the deaths. Keep on doing this, it will take a minute or two, and then when you spawn in it looks like the lights have been turned off. This is enough. The next time we roll off the table, we'll be able to control our animal on the floor. Make your way to the carpet for the final boss. The psychedelic ball is back, and now we have to beat it. It has a couple different abilities, such as teleporting out of attacks, and an arena attack that shoots an instant death across the screen. You also need to deal with areas of the map becoming unwalkable due to the boss spawning pools, and finally it will make a big pool in the middle, shooting out shockwaves that we'll need to jump over. These seem pretty random at times, and you can get different intensities across different runs. This one took me many attempts, so don't think you're going to walk straight into this and get that 100%. This one's going to take a few tries. It's definitely not impossible. The main thing to watch out for is the ranged arena attack. It uses the same AI as the animal, so you can kind of goad it into jumping off the map. As I said, it can teleport out of attack, so make sure you're using the normal attack so you can quickly change your direction. It got a bit nail-bitey at the end of my run when the CPU got me down to 1 life, but we managed to get there in the end. Once you've warmed up a couple times on this level, it's actually quite simple. The map is quite big and it's pretty forgiving when you get hit. There are a few more things you need to dodge, but they are very easily readable. And then yeah, beating this boss means you've beaten this game. And just like that, we have another 100% under our belt. And it didn't cost us a penny. And that is the end of my guide. If you're still here, then thank you for watching. If I helped you out or put Fuzzball on your radar, then please let me know down in the comment section. This game is part of my newest free games for Gamerscore video. If you haven't seen it, then please check the description below or check out my channel. If you want to see any more guides and walkthroughs or some more of my top 10s, then please hit that sub button. But until next time, I've been Morvi, and I'll see you later. Happy hunting.